What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy February 18th to all of you. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is the Jimmy the Bag Show live at the Dog and Bear, 1100 Queen Street West in Toronto, Ontario. The best place in the country to catch a Raptors game or a Leafs game or to watch soccer, to have some drinks. I can't wait to rock with you guys here today. Still no NBA, but a nice NHL card. And man, do we have a special guest today on the show. Being one of North America's best stand-up comedians for a long time, but his story of how he became this headlining comic around the world is unbelievable. I know you guys are going to eat it up, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Let me pull up the chat right now, and let's start breaking down this card. 7 NHL games, a huge group of NCAA basketball games, and I've capped a few of them. We're going to decide which ones we want to hammer. Coming off an okay day yesterday, 2-1 in NHL, 1-1 NCAA basketball. Not bad, not bad. And let's get this chat up right now. Shout out to all the guys joining us here today. What a group. Bobby Arms in the house. We got Omar J. Legend ready to get to work. Danny Menlo, Eduardo Solano, my guy, Ed. My guy, Ed, thank you for joining us. Ed Drewski, 902, not applicable. Paco Healy, Walla Walla Dose, DX Filer. Guillermo Zertucci says, Jimmy, I hope you killed it in poker. It was an okay night. I immediately lost my $200 buy-in. I got back up to about, I had about 500 in front of me, and then I cashed out for about $225 profit. About $425 after my $200 buy. And it was okay. We'll hammer it again. There's a big comics game on Sunday, another poker game on Monday. We'll be talking more about that. But Guillermo Zuturci cashed a pick 4 yesterday at Santa Anita for like $1,450. My guy Guillermo Zuturci. When he talks Santa Anita, we listen. Mitch Bruner in the house. Mark Unkefer, Alex Simeon, Jackie Treehorn. There's Nilo. Nilo, you haven't come through. You have not rolled with us yet here at the Dog and Bear. We're waiting for your presence to come drink with us. Barry McCockiner ready to get to work. J93, the writer. Man, we haven't seen a little J in a long time. Thank you for joining us. There's Ill Wise. Ill Wise, thank you for joining us. Ill Wise, great work yourself yesterday on the card. There's Rod Zawacki. Rod Zawacki was Monday's winner of the Vegas Gun Award for Excellence in Capping. There's Richie Rich in the house. Love Richie Rich. Love hammering an NHL card with Richie Rich in Slash 45. We're in good company right now. Gerald Jones. Manny Sanchez says Friday the 28th coming in for drinks and show. Perfect. Manny Sanchez, perfect. Come down to the Dog and Bear and roll with us. We got Ziggy 007, Nutflush Allen, Joseph Gomez, Shadow, Lou Chase Fox. There's Peter Anthony. Peter Anthony in the house. I love it. Says I won't go near that game. Peter, we miss you, man. Come join me at this game. You know you can cash at that game. Peter just back from cashing at all the Vegas poker rooms. I know you can cash at that game. Repula Gaming, Canascat, Rye, Kate, Brian Watson, Dan Kelly, Ron Crawford, Spreadsheet 2-0 yesterday. Nice job. Lamont Williams, Mr. Gogser, Doug Barnhouse, Yu Chang Yu, Beach Boss in the house. What a great group. Let's get to work. And let me reiterate how excited I am to have Dave Hemstad on the show today. Multiple awards in the Canadian comedy business, TV credits, movie credits. This guy, 10 festival appearances, Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, which is the most prestigious comedy festival in the world, called him a Canadian master. He won the Coca Comic of the Year, too. That's for all the universities in Canada. That's Canadian Organization of Campus Activities. And his album right now on iTunes and Spotify, Comedy Dump Truck. But he's also a 2-time winner of the Toronto Amateur Golf Championships. He had a full scholarship at Missouri State for golf, and I can't wait to talk all about that. It's a golf show today, which is great that Dan Kelly's going to be rolling with us. All right, and Liberty Finder says, let's go, Jimmy. I need to win some birthday cash. Happy birthday, Liberty Finder. Happy birthday, my guy, Liberty Finder. You're a huge asset to our chat here and everything that we do at the Jimmy the Bag Show. Much love to you, Liberty Finder. May this be a great year for you. I know that you were dealing with some lung issues, and I'm so happy that you're feeling healthy and going to have a great birthday. Let's get you some cash. Let's get some cash. Bobby Arms says, I play Omaha at the Hard Rock in Cincy. I love the Hard Rock in Cincy. I love that casino, and I love the city of Cincy. There's Paul Costa in the house in Texas. No Chiefs hat in the background, and that he has blue balls over this. Okay, well, let's get rid of those blue balls. Get somebody in there to fix those blue balls for you. Patrick Toby in the house. All right. Bill McHugh, let's go. Let's get to work. We are coming off a pretty good day. 3-2 overall plus 0.87 units. You know what? It's not pretty good, but it's the black, and that's where we want to be. Also, I know there's no NBA. You know, we have 48 hours before we're capping NBA again, but I do love the Rocket signings of Damari Carroll and Jeff Green. I mean, how are you not excited about what Morey's doing over there in Houston with this small ball lineup, this small ball roster? I'm pretty excited. It's going to be very difficult for me not to cheer for the Houston Rockets. All right, there's OJ Hernandez coming in with the first play right there. There's Matt Randall. Says, missed the show yesterday so much. We missed you, Matt Randall. And Noli knows. What a great group. My guys, Jansen, Bonson, Jansen. We need you to come through to the Dog and Bear, man. We need our Toronto low baggers to come through the Dog and Bear and have some drinks with us. And my man, Dave Hemstad, he is not afraid of a little booze himself, so I think we'll be drinking here. Beach Boss says, God bless the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was a nice cash for us. Nut Flush On says, San Francisco Giants money coming. Ski Profit in the house. Great group. Mr. Gogster. Matt Randall says, the taint is in. Merrimack, moneyline. Merrimack, moneyline. The taint is in. Let me copy and paste that. The taint play of the day is in. Taint play today is in. Lock that in. There's a Stu Chaos in the house. There's Ant-Man D ready to go. All right, let's start capping this card. And if you are liking the content, if you want to support the content you're seeing, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the link at the bottom of the screen for us, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. That's how you can help us, as I will never sell you anything. Let's get to work right now. Let's start, Rafa, my man. Can you pop up the NHL? Oh, and there's Juan Juarez rolling with us. Thank you for joining us, Juan. Pop up the NHL record. So it's improved slightly. Look, I just don't see a world where I finish the season negative units in NHL. And this is a time of year where these teams in the stretch run, these teams in the playoff races will win these hockey games. And I love my card today, just a little 3-game card for me, and I love it. And I expect to continue cashing. That's what I expect, is to continue cashing. All right, let's start off. I've got 2 plays on the first game. Let's bring up the best odds page on the planet, sportsbookreview.com, SBR odds page, and let's talk Columbus, Philadelphia. I told you guys, Seth Jones goes down. Look at the injuries for Columbus. Now, Seth Jones by far the most important. This guy's going to be a perennial Norris Trophy candidate. Cam Atkinson, their sniper, he goes down. Alex Wenberg, another sniper. Alexander Texier, he was a first-round draft pick, expected to be a sniper. 21-year-old sniper, he was expected to be putting goals in the net. These guys are all gone. Then you take out Josh Anderson, their size, their truculence. You lose him. And now they've lost 5 straight. And now they're no longer an under team. Yet the market will tell you, oh, they're still an under team. I jumped on the over 5.5, and that was at plus money. I got plus 105. I bet it at plus 100. If you want the over 5.5 right now, you can still get it at plus money. This is not an over team. And look at these 2 goalies in net right now. Merzlikins, very strong. Can he possibly continue this? He's never been a starting goalie in the NHL, but he's going to possibly do this. I don't find it possible that he can continue this. And Carter Hart, 906 save percentage. He's susceptible as well. There is Gin Rummy in the house. Thank you for joining us, Gin Rummy. Great to see you, man. Thank you for joining us. All right. I'm on 2 spots here. I'm on Flyers -1. That's plus 115. That was a minus 140 money line at 5 dimes, and minus 1.5 at plus 176. This is the opener of a home-and-home series, so we're going to get to see this again on Thursday, which is great. I love capping home-and-homes. The Jackets are still firing tons of shots on goal. They're just not scoring. They put up 55 shots against New Jersey in that 4-3 shootout loss on Sunday. They're going to get us overs. They're going to handle overs for us, and I'm very, very, very excited about smashing them. Mr. Ghoster right there says Jackets coming off 55 shots on net, 20 in both second and third. Going to be a big back-to-back here, both Philly and Columbus here. And Rye Cape says Carter is out for a couple weeks. I thought he was back. Let me just double-check that right now. I thought he was all good. Thank you for sharing that. Are you saying that he came back or he's on the shelf again? Let's grab this right now quickly. NHL, let's make sure that we know exactly what's going on with this depth chart of the Philadelphia Flyers. Look, I'm going to like the over as much. It doesn't matter if Elliott's in net, Lyons in net. All these goalies I find very, very susceptible. Carter Hart is, all right, he is. Yeah, he's in net tonight. He's back in action. Okay, sorry. So that took me off. Jim Remy says Flyers price is a steep one. Don't you guys think so? Let's talk about this Flyer spot -1. They're 9-4-1 in their past 14 games. This is a team that's going to be rolling towards the playoffs. Who has held them together all year? It's been Konechny, Couturier, and now they have Giroux and Van Riemsdyk rolling. That's going to give them enough depth to go on a real legitimate run here. Yes, the Jackets are beaten up. The Flyers will take care of business, and I'm on the over as well. Flyers -1 at +115. Columbus, Philadelphia over 5.5. And Richie Rich says head-to-head between these two teams, 4-1 to the over. Paul Costa says, when we talking Wilder Fury? We are. I promise you that we will be talking Wilder Fury and doing a lot of that. There's Jeff Joseph in the house says, we will make it down to see you very soon. Need my plain burger and Stella. This is the perfect place to do it. All right, let's keep rolling. Flyers -1, over 5.5. That's 2 of my 3 looks. Then we have Leafs Penguins. My first thought is, man, we're getting a nice price on the Pittsburgh Penguins. A very nice price. They're playing very good hockey. They picked up Zucker, 3-0-1 in their past 4 games, on pace for 112 points. But the Leafs are a dangerous squad, and they're a dangerous squad when they get called out. And Sheldon Keefe just called them out. He said this is the worst we've been in a long time after Sunday's 5-2 loss at Buffalo. I just find them dangerous. I just find this Leafs team a dangerous dog, and this we have a max bet in from Lamont Williams. And look at Lou Chase Fox says, wow, they're going to beat Fury's old ass. I can't believe it's a pick-em. That was our thoughts for the last 2 weeks. A lot of us were taking Wilder, but it wasn't all Wilder. There is Fury cash being talked about. We'll talk about that throughout the week. Dan Kelly has jumped on Merrimack as well. Astute Chaos coming in with his action. UCL PSG money line +134 and Liverpool money line at +135. Thank you, Astute Chaos, for sharing that. I will copy and paste that right now. Copy and paste her. There's JD Sportsnut in the house. Jansen says Leafs have been called out for the last 30 years. Well, our comic Dave Hemstad is grew up his whole life in Toronto, so we can talk about how bad the Leafs are, or how bad the Leafs have been. Paco Healy said they play 0 defense, so why not just hit the over 6.5? Mr. Goxer says both teams are dangerous here. I will be looking at the total here. And Mr. Goxer saying Yari could go. This game makes me uncomfortable. I think there's value on the Pens at -135. I really do. I think there's value on the Pens at -135. I really do. Richie Rich says multiple angles on Toronto today. Toronto's a dangerous, angry hockey team. You'd think that a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins that are 21-5-4 at home would be more than -135. The Leafs here 16-13-1 on the road. Just looking at this, you just think, man, they're asking you to bet the Penguins. There's my guy Nate Dogg in the house. Love seeing you in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Nate Dogg. Drewski taking Pittsburgh -1.5. Mark Unka, first play of the day is Baylor. He's also on the taint play of the day. Going to copy that. We got DX Filer's early pick over 44 in Dallas, Seattle for XFL. Going to copy in that. All right, I'm going to copy and paste all this. There's Rexent College Football joining us. And Ilwise says stay away overall. God, I find the Pittsburgh Penguins appealing at this price, but you have to think the Leafs are going to bounce back. They've been a dangerous road team all year. There's Michelle Madsen in the house. Says terrifying finish. Yes, he is. He's okay, which is good from the big race yesterday, Daytona 500 yesterday. Okay, let's keep rocking. I'm going to stay off that game at this point, but I do find that price screaming at me for the Penguins. Screaming at me. Stack Wap in the house joining us. All right, let's keep rolling. Sabres, Senators next up. Hutton, Holgberg, Senators, Sabres, both very weak penalty killing. Sabres coming off 75.2% penalty killing, but they're healthy now. And they just played a stretch of 9 of their past 10 games at home. They've won 3 of their past 4 on the road. They've actually been playing much better. 5-2-1 in February. And this is straight from Eichel. He says, we're starting to get confidence going again in the room. And I think that's everything. You can see we're getting contributions throughout the lineup. Eichel, 9 goals, 23 points his past 20 games. And Ottawa's had their number. This made me so close to making a move on the Sabres. It made me so close to making a move on the Sabres with them playing better and knowing that Ottawa's beaten them up all year. They've been outscored 11-3 during a 3-game losing streak to Ottawa. They just lost here in Ottawa on December 23rd. It makes me think they're going to come fast and furious. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres are extremely appealing spots for me right now, and I'm trying to stay off of it. Manny Sanchez says, go Sens, go. Solid play. Okay. And Jeff Joseph talking about the Baylor spot tonight. Big game, Baylor against Oklahoma Sooners. We're going to talk about that shortly. Let's keep rolling, although I do find both the Sabres and the Penguins appealing. And we have a max bet from Illwise. Sabres under 6 from our guy Illwise. Oh, and Rod Zawacki. Is Rod Zawacki making a move? I can't find it. I guess Rod Zawacki. Play of the day. Penguins win in regulation. J93 said, I saw it was Alexander Mogilny's birthday, so immediately picked the Sabres. Rod Zawacki says Buffalo sucks on the road. Buffalo on the road right now, 9-14-4. There's Peter Lucas in the house. Raven in the Desert liking Marquette. Marquette dangerous team at home. There's OJ Hernandez says Blues puck line looks sweet at home. Richie Rich says Buffalo game crapshoot. Lamont Williams, thank you for joining us and sharing your hard work. Let's move over to Canadians Red Wings. Canadians are not a good hockey team right now. They just lost Drouin again. They don't have Weber, although Weber could come back tonight. After they were saying that he could be out for the season. Now he could be back tonight. Canadians, Red Wings, Price, Bernier. Canadians, another team. This is another spot where both teams have terrible penalty killing, but can the power plays take advantage? And with this Red Wings team, the answer is no. The Red Wings are now scoring 1.98 goals a game. Their power play 14.6%. The Canadians are very angry about that 4-3 overtime loss to Dallas on Saturday night. And Bernier, for the Wings, has always played his hometown Habs hard. He's always played them tough. Detroit's doing nothing. 0-4 on the road trip last week. Just playing bad hockey. But I do not want the Habs. I do not want the Habs at all at this spot. Look at the Montreal Canadiens here. Open up at -185, now -201. No, I do not want it. Illwise says, why is Montreal -210? My guy J93, Lil J says, Blues way overdue. I told my buddy, hold back on the over. Blues will score, but will the Devils? Let's get into that game right now. Devils, Blues. Let's see what we're dealing with here on the best odds page on the planet. Sportsbookreview.com, SBR odds page. New Jersey, St. Louis. St. Louis opening up at -217, now -238. This total sitting at 6, but look, Bookmaker has moved it to 5.5. Bookmaker has moved it to 5.5. Mr. Gokster says if Howard starts, Montreal team total over, Montreal puck line. I do not see a world where that could happen. I do not see it. And Richie Rich says Montreal value play on the over 5.5. All right. Mackenzie Blackwood is playing very, very good hockey. I can understand why you guys are thinking about the under here. Average penalty killing. And Devils penalty killing not bad at 80.9%, but that's got to drop without Andy Green. Blues are coming off a 2-1 loss in Nashville on Sunday. Outshot the Predators 39-24 and lost. They're winless in their last 5 games, 0-3-2. They got healthier. They got Sundqvist back in the lineup, so he'll be on that line with Steen and Barbashev. Devils come to town on the heels of a 4-3 shootout victory over the Jackets on Sunday. They're 7-5-3 in their past 15. They're playing good hockey, but they've traded Blake Coleman, and now they've traded Andy Green. You know, that Blackwood is playing so good right now. And the Blues just aren't scoring. Not applicable says under sounds good here. It does sound good. Blues are just not scoring. Blackwood's playing very well. Blues will carry the play. All right, I'm in. I'm going to get in here before this becomes a 5.5. Totals 6 here. Let's get it. New Jersey, St. Louis, under 6 at -103. That's available at 5 dimes. Under 6 at -103. All right, let's move into my another spot on the card. And I may have been I bet this last night. Predators -1. The Predators are playing better hockey. The more I studied the Blues situation and seeing how the Blues really took the play to them, I got a little uncomfortable with this bet. But Pekka Rinne is going to be the difference on this hockey team, and he's been rolling right now. The Preds have won 3 straight. They're just 8-7-0 since Hines was hired on January 7th, but they win back-to-back against the Stanley Cup champion Blues. Rinne stops 38 of 39 shots, his best performance of the season. Hurricanes are 6-3-1 over their last 10. They just lost to a Connor McDavid-less Edmonton Oilers squad. Aho and Svechnikov are rolling, but nobody else is. And it's now Predators now or never. I got the Predators -1 at +141. That was a money line at +117. Let's see -117. Let's see what I would get right now with this Nashville money line. It's 113. Wow, so I could have got a better number. I may have been rushing to this move. Noli knows says, what about Columbus, Philadelphia under 5.5? Noli knows Columbus is not an under team anymore. I'm on the over in that game at a plus line. An over at a plus line. I have not pulled the trigger on I've not pulled the trigger on the Sabres, and I've not pulled the trigger on the Penguins. And I'm okay with that. I got 4 looks. I don't need to reach. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I'm going to leave it just there right now, but I'm going to be thinking about those additions. God, that Penguin spot is screaming at me. All right, let's keep rolling along, and let's move into NCAA basketball. Oh, no, we have one more game on the card. Excuse me. Kings-Jets, sorry. Let's take a look at that. I do not trust Winnipeg at all right now. They open up minus 153. There's been an 11-cent move towards the Jets at Pinnacle. They're now minus 164. And even though the Kings have traded Toffoli, they're playing good hockey. The Jets have not played well. They had a 2-game losing skid, 3-2 home victory over the Blackhawks on Sunday. They're 5-2-1 in February, but look at their losses of late. Have not been pretty. Kings come in on a 2-game winning streak. They're coming off that game at Air Force Academy's football stadium in Colorado Springs. Tyler Toffoli gets a hat trick. He's been traded to Vancouver. I just don't trust the Jets. Trust the Jets. Kareem Walker says Penguins is a great play at home. I do like the Penguins here. I know the Leafs are a dangerous team, but could everything be imploding? You know what? I wouldn't mind. I know that we're not, when the comedians are, we're not supposed to talk about real current events. But, man, I feel like the Penguins are the play here. They're just playing such good hockey, and I'm going to pull the trigger on the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going to take them on the -1 line. I'm getting a money line at minus 135. -1. Money line minus 135. And let's get a puck line here right now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're just playing such good hockey. And are the Leafs imploding right now? I'm getting a plus 176 at Heritage. -1.5. Plus 176 at Heritage. All right, I'm not going to add the Sabres. Although they're an angry group. They're clearly an angry group, but I'm not going to do it. Slats45 says Pens do it. Nilo says I like the Pens too on the money line. All right. God, I just feel like could the Senators sweep any team? I know Belleville's playing so well. Could they sweep any team? All right, Matt Randall says, love today's NCAA basketball card. We're going to be bringing on Dave Hemstad. I'm so excited about having him on the show. We're going to be bringing him on very shortly. But let's talk about some of the marquee spots and see if we should make a move. First off, let's take a look at what our Matt Randall is talking about with this spot with Merrimack. Let's find Merrimack on this card. Command F. Show me Merrimack. And let's see what we're dealing with. Merrimack at +2. At minus 116 on the road against Bryant. Let's see what we're dealing with a plus money line with Merrimack here right now. I would prefer to get, it's just plus 110. All right, so let's take that back. Let's take those 2 points. With Merrimack. A plus 110 is just not going to be enough. I'm going to get +2 at minus 110, and I'll take that. I'm going to roll with the taint play of the day. Let's grab it right now. I'm going to take Merrimack +2 at minus 110. And Daryl Lyles, thank you so much. Wasn't able to comment due to work. Thank you for joining us, Daryl Lyles. You're going to absolutely love today's segment with the meeting with Dave Hemstad. This story is going to be very, very fun to rock with you guys. OJ Hernandez says, jump on Pens and Blues money line. I'm going to take the Pens -1. Paco Healy is on Pittsburgh over 6.5. Winnipeg -1.5 at plus 150. And in NCAA basketball, he's on Kentucky, Marquette, Baylor, Florida State, and Penn State. Let me copy and paste that. Paco Healy, our guy representing San Diego in the house. All right, going to copy and paste that. All right, let's talk about these games and hear what you guys. Oh, and SM liking Connor over 2.5 shots. I like that as well. All right, let's talk about these big spots here on the card. We'll look at 3 games. Let's start with the big game, Baylor Bears, Oklahoma Sooners, and see what we're dealing with right now. Let's go to that. Baylor opening up at -3.5. There's a 3 at BetOnline and a 4 at Bovada. Let's go to spreads and totals here and see exactly what we're dealing with. This total opened up at 134 and is now down to 133.5. Baylor 12-0 in the conference. Baylor hasn't won a conference champion since 1950. Haven't won outright since 48. They've won 22 games in a row. That ties them with the 96-97 Jayhawks for the longest streak in conference history. This team is playing good basketball, but remember, they barely beat the Sooners at home January 20th, 61-57. Sooners are coming off a bad loss at Kansas on Saturday, and we just heard Jeff Joseph talk about Baylor's playing Kansas next. Oklahoma's last 4 games in Norman, Manick has been rolling. Brady Manick coming off a very bad game against Kansas, 1 for 6. Kareem Walker liking LSU at halftime, coming off a tough road loss against first-place team in Kentucky. I love that spot they're going to come play. We'll talk about that. Jeff Joseph says classic look-ahead spot for Baylor. Jansen Bonson says Oklahoma has only lost once at home. Oklahoma sitting at 6-6 in the conference. And Matt Randall says Oklahoma money line is on his card. Wow. All right, let's move on to Marquette Golden Eagles. 19th ranked Marquette at home against Creighton. We know how dangerous Creighton is on the road. At home. But are they that dangerous? Can you trust them when they are not playing in their very difficult to play in arena? Creighton, Marquette opening up at -2.5, now -3. Howard averaging 27.3 points a game for Marquette. Last 4 games, they've scored an average 4 home games. Both these teams are so strong at home. Marquette, last 4 home games, they're averaging 79.8 points a game while allowing 65.5. Creighton's dangerous this year. But Creighton beat up on Marquette New Year's Day, 92-75. Is this a situation where Marquette wants to smash back is the question. Hail to the victors, liking Creighton. Mr. Gokes saying Hutton is confirmed. Jansen saying Marquette great at home. Noli knows on Oklahoma first half money line at +130. Interesting. Hail to the victors, liking Creighton 9-4 in conference play to win outright against Marquette Golden Eagles. I've still yet to pull the trigger on anything college basketball. Let's move on to this Kentucky LSU spot. LSU now out of the top 25. Let's take a look. LSU opening up at -2. They're now at -2.5. There's been a half-point move towards them. Daryl Lyles is on the over. Creighton Marquette, my play of the day on the over in Creighton Marquette. That opened up at 154. It's now at 156. Wow, look at that. You can get that over at 156 at Pinnacle. It's up to 158.5 at Intertops. Great look, Daryl. Great look. OJ Hernandez is with you on that over. Great work. Kentucky LSU. Let's take a look at this spot right now. This total sitting anywhere between 149.5 and 150.5. LSU has lost 3 of their last 4. Now out of the top 25. They had won 10 straight games. It started with that loss at Vanderbilt. When they had won 10 straight games, 5 of those games were within 5 points. They were fortunate to be on a 10-game winning streak. They lose at Alabama 88-82 on Saturday. They allow 42 offensive rebounds. You have to think that they're going to be angry early. Oklahoma first half, LSU first half. I like both those looks. And wow, Mr. Gog says looking like Anderson. Okay, you know what? I'm going to run with you guys. A lot of you guys, Noli Nolis included, is liking Oklahoma first half. I'm going to run with that. But I think I'm going to take the points. Let's see what the points are right now. Going over to the first half odds page here. Sportsbookreview.com. Let me grab it right now. Oklahoma first half. See what we're dealing with here. Oklahoma first half. I'm getting +2. God, it's -115. Wish I could get -110. All right, I'm going to take Oklahoma first half +2 at -115. And I'm going to take LSU first half to come out rolling. LSU first half is -1.5 at -105. All right, I've made 2 moves in NCAA basketball first half, -1.5 at -105. There you have it. There is the card for today, Tuesday, February 18th. I'm on 5 looks in NHL. Flyers -1 at +115. Over 5.5 in Columbus, Philadelphia. Then I'm on the Penguins -1. That's a -135 and a +176. I'll have to work that out on my calculator. And then I'm on the under 6 in the New Jersey St. Louis game. That's on Mackenzie Blackwood stepping up for me. And then I'm on the Predators -1 at +141. Then I made 2 first half plays in NCAA basketball. LSU first half -1.5, -105. And the Sooners first half +2 at -115. All right. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is the Jimmy the Bag Show live at the Dog and Bear, 1100 Queen Street West in downtown Toronto, the best place in the country to get a drink and watch Raptors, Leafs, or soccer. And do we ever have a special guest joining us right now? One of North America's top headliners, best comedians, and a good friend of mine. I can't wait to have him on the show. Please welcome to the Jimmy the Bag Show, none other than Dave Hemstad. Dave Hemstad
Jimmy
in the house.
Bag. Jimmy running those numbers.
Running those numbers.
Goodness, I got dizzy just listening to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job. Way to know math.
Way to know math. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I do my best.
Yeah. You kids at home, you study your maths.
Your maths. Yes. Dave Hemstad, I can't wait to tell this story to our low baggers here. I can't wait to tell this story to our low baggers here. So first off, let's talk. As a stand-up comedian, you become, a preeminent headliner. Canadian Comedy Awards, movies, TV shows. You tour through Europe. You tour all over the world. 3-time Canadian Comedy Award winner. Your album, Comedy Dump Truck, available iTunes, Spotify. You have a great career, 10 festival appearances. But let's talk about how you got here, because that is the more interesting story to me, is how you got here.
I took an Uber.
How you got here today? You took an Uber.
Yeah.
We are, Nilo saying, what are you guys drinking? We are going to start drinking. Dan Kelly says, Jimmy, does Dave bet golf? Yes, he does, and I push him to do it. But let's get into this story, Dave, and take us back. So let's start. You are a redshirt freshman, Wichita State.
Yeah, I was a shocker for a minute there. Yeah, I redshirted. I was on academic probation because of my 6-year high school career. And so they told me to focus on the grades. We had a bunch of seniors, focus on the grades. So I got focused on the grades, got the best grades on the team, and then they offered me no dough. So I had to leave. So that was my short stint as a shocker.
And then where did you go? And you got a full scholarship, golf scholarship too.
Yeah, well, I ended up asking around to see who played Wichita the most.
Sure.
So I ended up at Missouri State, which at the time was called Southwest Missouri State, is now Missouri State, but I became a Bear.
Oh, hello. Here we go.
Wow.
Oh, hello.
Thank you, Sage.
You're very welcome. Enjoy, guys.
All right,
Getting
look at this.
in the bag,
This is
on
how
the
we
bag.
start. This is how we start. Thank
like
you.
that.
It's been a long time since we've seen each other, Hammer.
It has.
What tequila is this?
Jimmy, should be a Casamigos, I believe.
That sounds
we've
very nice.
arranged.
Dave, it's been a long time. Thank you
Cheers.
for joining the Jimmy
Hey,
the Bag Show.
It is an honor, Jimmy.
I can't wait for you to tell this story.
Okay, well, you're going to have to.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I'm not above a little swing oil.
No.
A little something to get the interview train running.
No.
So I ended up in Missouri State because we were
Okay.
playing Wichita a lot. The coach there, Perry Leslie, liked my attitude because I wanted revenge. I was on a
Sure.
mission.
Sure. Revenge is
So-
a good angle.
Yeah, so I ended up winning a tournament while I was at Missouri State.
Yes.
So I was.
And that was the SMS Diet Pepsi Challenge.
That's it.
March of '99. I have researched it.
Excellent.
So you win the '99 SMS Diet Pepsi Challenge. So now you come back to Toronto for the
Yeah.
summer, and you go into the inaugural Toronto Amateur Championship Golf Tournament.
Yeah, the Toronto Star put on a big amateur tournament. First one ever was in 1999. Found myself coming down the stretch against Warren Sy, who's a Canadian Hall of Fame golfer, and I fought him off, won the first one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the inaugural. So now you're on the cover of the Toronto Star, Toronto Sun sports sections.
Oh yeah, it was big time.
Yeah, no, I've seen the pictures too. I've seen the pictures. So, so there you are. Okay, so there we've set the stage. Okay, so and how old
Yeah.
are you at this point?
I guess 24.
24 years old.
Yeah,
Okay.
late bloomer.
Then you roll into the Ontario Amateur Championships.
Yeah, and I got a little heat because I'm the Toronto champ.
Yeah.
Just took on Warren Sy, so I had a little heat, and then it got hotter. Real quick, first round, I took a bad double bogey on my second hole, plugged in a bunker, but I bounced back, got birdie through my first 6 holes to get it back to even. Then there was a horn went for inclement weather in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys were going to stand under a big tree. I said, we got time, let's get out of here. We'll head into the clubhouse, and then bang! Loudest noise I've ever heard. The tree that they were on got split in half by lightning. Real sizzle in the air. Loudest noise I've ever heard. Biblical, if you're ever close to lightning. And I thought it missed me. I was like, ooh, that was close. And then we came back out to play a little bit later, and I couldn't control my hands. They were very jumpy. Woke up the next day and my mouth was all purple, my ear was burned, and I realized, lightning came up and out, and
you got struck by lightning.
And didn't play well after that.
No, I imagine. I imagine.
The hands got away from me. Short game got away from me. If it had been a track and field event, I think I would have had a better chance.
Sure.
I was pumped, but I couldn't control the body.
For those of us who've never been struck by lightning,
it stings.
And changes. What were the changes?
Well, your body runs on your nervous system runs on electrical impulses, right? So it's like you got the paddles when you didn't need them, right? The old clear. Mm-hmm. So I got all this stuff coursing through me. So I could not keep my hands steady on the greens. I was just too jacked. And so mood swings for a few months. Your whole system is ping-ponging around inside trying to figure out what the hell's going on with it. So not to mention the fact that, obviously you go, okay, what was the point of that, universe? What the hell do you want?
Yeah.
So I did a little soul searching, went back to Missouri State, tried to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, saw a sign for a student stand-up comedy contest, realized I always wanted to do that. So it was 3 weeks away. I said, I'm doing that. I drop out the next day. So
you do stand up that night, you drop out of school the next day.
Yeah.
And
left a full ride, which they don't like.
A full scholarship, and I imagine I've met your dad, H. I like him very much, and he's a pretty intense guy.
Yeah.
How did he handle that news?
I think everybody thought the same thing, which was, well, we lost the boy. It's too bad.
Yeah.
I see. You're gonna be a comedian. That's what you're gonna be.
That's the big plan.
Yeah, you're leaving a full ride to go tell jokes. I got you.
So you come back to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's very disappointed in your actions, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, except me. I'm excited.
You're pumped.
Yeah, everyone else is very doubtful.
Now, you started your stand-up career in a very interesting way. You didn't follow the regular route. And by saying that, I mean you didn't go to all the amateur night, open mic nights. I'm Dave Hemstad. Check me out. Get better. Start middling, start headlining. You took a very different route, and I don't know another comic who took a similar route, at least in the last 20 years. It's something that could have been done, when like Jim Carrey and those guys were coming up in the 80s.
Yeah.
But in the last 20 years, I've not seen that. So why don't you explain what the hell happened at the beginning of your stand-up career?
Okay, I just saw some of your comments here, though. No, I didn't become a psychic. No superpowers, which really pissed me off.
No.
I thought I'd get something, I can't learn languages, nothing. Not even 3-day erections, nothing.
You can't even get 3-day erections?
I thought a lightning rod, I thought I'd get something out of the deal. I got nothing.
Damn it. Well, at least, 30-minute focus on those things.
So, I started at the bottom of amateur night. Dave Mary, who you know, comedian, was kind enough to hold my hand to my first amateur night. And I did some comedy. And then, I wasn't really making any progress. So, I created a character based on my Missouri experience named Billy Bob Joe Taylor.
Billy Bob Joe Taylor. I know you don't like talking too much about Billy Bob.
Oh, it's just a long time ago. But I ran this character. It was mostly just to get my foot in the door comedy-wise.
Yeah.
Because I needed an angle. Nobody was interested in a blonde guy named Dave sharing his sporty thoughts.
Because when I started stand-up as well, they said a white middle-class heterosexual comic, no thank you.
I think they're still saying that, right?
they do not. What you gonna do some observational material for us?
You need some angles, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You need some angles. So I played a cowboy. I figured it was memorable, and then eventually, thank you, one guy who got the lightning rod joke. And then I realized that wasn't what I wanted to do either. Which I'm now comfortable making those kind of big decisions.
But Billy Bob Joe Taylor, just to go back, was a tricky thing because you would be Billy Bob Joe Taylor during the show. The audience would think you're Billy Bob Joe Taylor. You'd go to an after party and you'd have to stay Billy Bob Joe Taylor.
Yeah, I thought people would be impressed that it was an act. But instead they looked at me like I just killed their new best friend. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, this is terrible. I got to lie to people all the time. And started dressing up like a cowboy earlier and earlier in the day,
But you were immediate headliner with Billy Bob Joe Taylor.
It was pretty quick. It took about 6 months to go from...
Which is unheard of.
Yeah, it was
So you're doing big shows, making big money as Billy Bob Joe Taylor. And what happens?
So
what's the process there?
The comics didn't like me. So that's the first part of the process.
And why do you think they didn't like it? Because you got there so easily?
Yeah, too quick, jumped the line, and it's a lie, and I'm playing the thing, right? So fair enough. Anyway, so I started over again. as myself.
As yourself.
You know, so that A, I could open up the wardrobe, and B, I could stop lying after the show.
Yeah. In a hot tub as Billy Bob Joe Taylor.
Hat on, snow out there going, whoo, sure is chilly. Y'all just do this for fun, do you? it got weird. The worst would be meeting people from Missouri and pretending to be from Missouri, and it just got strange. So I was like, what am I doing?
Just lies on top of lies.
Walking down a highway dressed as a cowboy going, I was on a golf scholarship like 3 years ago. What have I done here?
And let's go back to H for a minute, because I also spent a lot of my life with a disappointed father. And it wasn't until he had given up on me when I started building it back.
Yeah.
Now, with Billy Bob Joe Taylor, what's H think of this?
Well, he liked Billy Bob.
Yeah.
He actually liked it. Yeah, he was more mad I started losing my hair because he thought a little hair coming out the back of the cowboy hat looked nice. You can never, the root of all disappointment is expectation, right? So your parents have their own expectations of what you're going to be, and that's on them to some degree.
Sure.
So, well, look, I'm doing what I can with what I got.
So let me ask you this. So Billy Bob Joe Taylor, then you get into Dave Hemstad, and Dave Hemstad starts, legitimizing your comedy career to our colleagues and to the festivals, and even though they probably like Billy Bob Joe Taylor, what happens to sports? So let's say you're 30 now?
What?
At this point, like once you start to be Dave Hemstad, you start getting recognition for your stand-up. Are you golfing?
Yeah, well, I was entertaining at golf tournaments in the summer. Dave Mary taught me how to do that. So I'd do like a beat the pro kind of thing where I'd hit balls. Actually, I forgot I had another character there for a minute.
What was that?
Do you remember Cheetah Forest?
Oh, of course.
I remember Cheetah Forest. I was the only guy who could beat Tiger Woods was Cheetah Forest.
And you would do that at golf?
Yeah, I'd have a beat the cheetah contest and wear some loud clothes and have a little golf contest.
Was that bringing in the paper?
Yeah, it was. Only thing, corporate golf tournaments. That's how an amateur comic stays alive.
Oh, for sure.
It was all about paying the bills at that point too. So I had two characters paying my bills, and then I was able to, amalgamate it into one person again. I
remember. So all of our colleagues had these 89 escorts, Ford Escorts, I should say Ford Escorts before I say escorts. These shit cars, and you had a really nice car, and I remember being a young comic, and you're like, you can't show up at these important gigs in a fucking...
but I learned that because I had a 92 Beretta with the muffler going a little bit, and I pulled up to this golf tournament. I was charging them $750 for the day, and the car was probably worth $750. Yeah. But anyway, I'm driving in and had this long country club driveway, and I mean, it's just a serene morning. Everyone's hitting putts and stuff, and then you hear me coming down, and normally I would just pull into the parking lot and take off, but they ushered me down, and I was like, no, I gotta just hide this vehicle. Yeah. And they made me go right down through in front of everybody. Now everyone's stopped putting and they're looking and they're expecting some really sexy automobile making that kind of noise, but it turns out no, just the old little Belville. So I was like, I gotta win the moment. So I jumped out and said, excuse me, I'm here for the car show. This is the 92 Beretta. No, I'll just pop the hood. So I jumped the clubs, drove back, and I was like, I gotta get a vehicle. I can't be showing up like a guy who's worth $750 in a $750 car. So I went and leased Ford Explorer the next day or something. And to me it was important. Plus, as a comic, when you're starting out, you're in your car all the time. So to me, it's like, if you want any shot at happiness, you got to have a car you like getting into.
No doubt.
Right? There was three things. You need a bed you like sleeping in, a car you like driving, and clothes you like wearing. Those were my three in that bout of depression where nobody believed in me. I was like, well, if I have those three things, I can get through the day. I can figure it out. So it was match play, to use golf terms. To me, that stretch of life was just win the day. It wasn't even like a big arc. It was like, I'm just going to win today. I'll try to figure out tomorrow. Just get through the day.
I had a weird stretch with my career because I had some big success early. And because I remember like a picture of me at the hill at Calgary Yuck Yucks. I had holes in my shoes. They were taken from the holes in my shoes up to me. And then I started booking things, and then that went away. And I remember when that went away and I started getting broke again, the only thing I had was show shoes.
Yeah.
Fucking show
Oh,
shoes.
yeah.
I had my fucking J's.
Woo, you still
I had
got
the
show shoes on today. Look at these kicks. Have you shown everybody these pimp boots you wear?
Pimp
Yeah,
boots.
they're just, you look good in them.
Well, I always had show shoes because at least I had that. At least I could go on stage and as soon as the show was over, I put them to take them off. Okay. Well, so what happens to your sports during this? What are you doing because you were a hockey player growing up, a talented hockey player. You had some opportunities there. You went with the golf scholarship. So what happens in your mid-30s with sports? Do you care about sports? Are you playing sports?
The nice thing about golf is you can play it forever, right? So that's the one good thing about it is even if you're boozing at night, getting a bit of a boiler in front of you and everything, you can still golf. I mean, my hockey suffered.
Yeah.
But my golf, I actually got pretty steady at it. It took a while to not be angry at the game, and I always had this sort of relationship of like, what am I doing golfing? I'm a comedian now, but golf's one of those things. If you're addicted to golf, if the bug is bit, there's no cure. There's no cure. So I had to figure out a way to balance the two, and I found some neat parallels between golf and comedy. Perfection is unattainable. There's no rules in how you do it. So you have room for your imagination. You can never really figure it out. So both are like lifelong journeys where if you ever think you've got it figured out, duck, because you're going to take a humiliation punch in the nose from the universe on course or on stage or whatever. So force you to keep working, which I like.
When you were at this time, like in your mid-30s, so you win the inaugural Toronto Amateur Championship, and then you're still playing, right? Because you're the winner of the inaugural one. I caddied for you at one, and you were an angry golfer at the time. You were an angry golfer. Your first shot, I remember it well, because it skied. We thought because you were trying to get over like a tree area to give yourself a nice spot,
right?
And so you thought you hit it true, right? And so we went to go.
Right, that's right. I remember that.
But we couldn't find the ball.
Oh,
we couldn't find the
bombed
ball.
one over the corner on the first hole, and I'm swaggering down the
feeling
fairway.
good about yourself.
Woo, here we go. Inaugural champ just bombed one. And then we never found the ball.
No.
I had to do the dead man walking all the way back to see. Hold up the tournament. Just a shameful little, sorry guys.
But you didn't say sorry guys. No, you were much
I was
scarier.
steamed we never found that ball. Yes, I did get to a +3 a couple times. And it's hard to get there. And yeah, Tiger's an angry golfer. Being an angry golfer is not the worst thing for you. Sometimes if you can harness it, find a little passion, a little focus. Me with my ADD, having a little anger helps me dial it in. Whereas other times I'll be like, miss a couple shots, and then hello anger.
It was not an enjoyable day holding the bag for you that day, and
yeah, well, you weren't a lot of help either.
No, and speaking of not a lot of help, tomorrow's guest, a great stand-up comedian, Brian Hatt. God, he's so funny. He's going to be so much fun on the show. I can't wait to have him. He was also a caddy of yours during this time.
It became a fun thing where comedians wanted to caddy for me. I guess now Brian Hatt, is that it? I assume who you're talking about.
Yeah,
old Babsy.
Sweet baby Babs.
Sweet baby Babs was like, I always had a thing where I wanted to caddy for a guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, sure, come on out and loop it. So he signed up for the 2 days. And the first day, we get maybe 4 holes in. Again, I'm off to a crappy start. I got a double bogey in me on like the second hole. I think I bogeyed the third hole. So I'm 3 over, not happy. Coming in, I got like a 10-foot par putt on this next hole, and I'm like, I cannot bogey 3 holes in a row. So I got some mud on the ball. I give it to Babsy, to Brian Hatt, to clean while I read this putt. I am studying this putt. It's a double breaker. I think I got to start left at the hole. I think it's going to come back if I get the pace right. If I hit too firm, it won't come. But I think at some point it's going to drift just right. I'm really studying my line. I got my eye right on this blade of grass. I think I got to start over. I asked Brian for the ball. He gives me the ball, and I go put down, and there's still a giant chunk of mud. It's just a giant chunk of mud still in the ball. But I'd seen him wiping it with the towel the whole time. So now I put it down. I'm like, what's going on over there? And he goes, I didn't know. I'm like, did you wipe around the mud? He's like, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to how can it roll? How can a ball roll with a chunk of mud on the side?
Yeah.
So now we're holding up the course again. I got to go get it myself. I'm like, give me the damn thing. Anyway.
I believe you used more course language than that, though, because he didn't show up the following day, right?
Listen, there's another story quick before that, though. Is so now on the back nine, I'm not having a great day. I got to stop picking these amateur caddies, by the way. I was not good enough to be also running a preschool class while I'm trying to play in a tournament. So I hit one. It looked real good. Caught the side of a green, bounced into a hazard. Tough hole at Donalda there. It wasn't a bad shot. Did not deserve to bounce where it did. So now we're trying to find this ball in the hazard. And I look, and I'm sort of looking around, and Babsy's got one of my clubs out of the bag. And he's hacking through the hazard like with a machete in the jungle, which every time he does it is a 2-shot penalty on me. And he is just swinging it. I can't even count. I look over, there's like 20-stroke penalty happening. And I got to turn to the guys in my group. I'm like, oh, man, he does not know what's happening here. And in no way he's improving my like, I can't even count. I'm probably up to 24. I got to be like, Babsy, no. So the next day looked like inclement weather, maybe a drop of rain or two. And old Babsy called it off. He's I'm not coming. So Brian Hatt, you see tomorrow on this show.
Yeah.
I know as Mudball No Show.
Oh, Mudball
No Show.
Oh, Mudball No Show.
Caddying's its own thing. Shout out and respect to all the caddies out there who do a good job of it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's hard.
Tough. Yeah, but you were, let me say, you were mentally unsound on the course back then.
Thank you.
But something's changed. Something's changed.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
Well, I guess success on the golf course.
Yeah.
But something has changed with you. I mean, you probably know what's changed.
As there's balance in life, for sure. I think I was always too attached to results and a little too caught up in if I don't play well, then I'm not me, and artificial pressures of which golf can do for you. The nice thing about golf versus comedy is golf you can quantify. What'd you shoot? That's how good you were. Mm-hmm. Comedy, it's always so subjective, right? So it was nice to have something where you go, no, I was that score today, and that's who I am. But the problem was, of course, if you don't shoot a good score, then that's also who you are. So I would get very caught up in the results as far as how it reflected on me. Whereas now I've got, I got a family, and I've got, success in my other career. So now I still want to play well all the time. I still get a little sour out there, but I'm a little better at it. You know what happened? I was golfing a couple years ago, and I missed a shot, and I was like, David. Damn it, David. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm Dave. I go by Dave my whole life. Who the hell's David?
David?
Yeah, and what's this voice in? David. So I don't know if it was my dad's voice. Pardon me, Morty. I don't know if it was my dad's voice in my head, but I had something where I was like, David. So I've learned to try to stop calling myself David when I miss a shot and try to be like, Dave. Come on, man.
My stepbrother does that to himself. His name's Fraser, and he goes, Fraser. And I just lose it. I laugh so hard. I get like
anyone who golfs has their own full name self-critique.
Fraser.
Listen to the tour. You'll hear Tiger. Damn it, Tiger. There's not a guy who doesn't yell at himself in his own full name, and that's probably, I don't know where it comes from. Probably our dads. Probably perfectionism. Either way, it's an impossible standard that you got to learn to. All right.
Well, so let's come full circle. Mm-hmm. So now we have the final. The final Toronto Amateur Championship was this year.
Yeah, of all the things, right? So when I won, it was funny because when I won in 1999, the Toronto Star newspaper put on this event, and they said, we're going to run this event. And they said, because you won the first one, your grandkids are going to read your name. Like every year we have it, we're going to say the inaugural champion, Dave Hemstad, and that'll be going on back in 1999, the original champion. Yeah. And so then this year they call and they go, look, I don't know if you guys know, newspapers aren't doing as well as they used to. So budgets are cut, and they're like, this is going to be the last event. And so I was like, man, well, by the way, I've won none since the first one in 99. But I was like, I want to win this last one. I got to win this last one, because then I'd be the bookend champion instead of the inaugural. They've always been so kind to me. So I'm like, all right, I'm winning this, the last one. So we get to the tee, and I go, hey, by the way, remember when you said my grandkids will read my name? Turns out my kids won't even know what a newspaper is. You were so far off on that prediction.
So off.
It's 20 years later. 20. Kids have never even heard of a newspaper. Grandkids. Way to stroke the ego, man. So anyway, I got to play in this tournament. What's a newspaper exactly? So I'm going to play in this tournament. So I come into the final round with like a one-shot lead or a tied. I don't remember exactly where I was. I think I was actually one back. Anyway, I'm either one back or tied going in the final round.
It's going into the final round?
Yeah, so 3-round event. Okay. So I'm going to the final round. And so I'm on the first warm-up area with a couple of guys I'm going to be playing with. And I'm like, hey, boys, if you don't know, Destiny's on my side today. This is it. Like, I got to win.
Slow down. What would you say your odds would have been to win the tournament at the beginning of the tournament?
Going into it?
Yeah.
Not good.
Like 50 to 1, 100 to 1?
Like 80, you're the numbers guy, man. I don't know. What would you have put me
But
at?
were you, so like...
It's a smaller field, so yeah, I'd give me a 20 to 1.
Okay.
I'll give me 20 to 1. I'll just pick a number. I don't know your math.
Sure, it'd be 50.
So, I don't
57.
know. It'd be 100 to 1. Who are we kidding? I hadn't won it in 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be like Nicholas in 86, only with way less of a chance. So anyway, I'm coming down. So I tell these guys, look, Destiny's over my side. I'm winning. Get out of my way. And guys like, you're garbage or whatever. And so now we're playing the round.
So you're telling these guys that Destiny's on your side?
Yeah, I'm trying to create this idea for myself that I'm winning today, no matter what. I'm trying to have some swagger, a little championship, aura and whatever. So we get down the stretch. Now a bunch of guys fall out of the way, and it's down to me and one guy with like 5 holes to go. And so we're tied, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, man, you're getting in the way of destiny now. Now it's just you in the way of destiny. And then he goes, yeah, and I told you I don't believe in any of that shit. And I was like, whoa, you're going to give me the universe on my side? Are you crazy?
How old's this guy?
Now I got, he's probably 40 maybe, but I'm like, now I got the universe on my, oh, sweet. So now I figure for sure I'm going to win, right? And I birdie 60th hole, I make a great birdie to take a lead. Then on 18, it's a par 3 at this course, and I nut a 4-iron. Never leaves a flag from about 218. I'm like, this could go in. I'm like, I might just make an ace, be the greatest ending of all time. It lands, takes off a little harder than I thought, catches the hole, catches cup, but then goes off the back. And I'm like, how did that go? But I go off the back. It means I got a chip, like I'm dead now. And so I went from this to, So now I'm like, how did that even happen? I get there, and it turns out I landed right on the seam. The ball landed right on the fringe and the seam, which shot it forward, take the spin off. Now I pitch it down, and I miss the putt. Come back, so I bogey the last hole to force. Now we're in a playoff. So now all of a sudden my energy is like, am I going to be the guy who lets the universe down? Am I going to fail destiny? So now I'm like, this sucks. I don't think I can handle letting the universe down. Not for the rest of my life. Like, the story is I win the bookends. The story is not, and then he blew it on the last hole, so, like a loser. So luckily, I hit a couple great shots in the playoff hole, and he ran into some trouble. So I won it in a playoff. So I won it even beyond the last one. I won it in a playoff in the last tournament. 20 years later, so I won the original 99 and the final one in 2019, which is just a cool little thing that happened.
It's a very, very cool thing that happened to bookend the Toronto Amateur Championships. So
yeah.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So 1999 Toronto Amateur winner right here, Dave Hemstad, and also 2019. And we need to put a bow on this show.
Hang on, I gotta tell Gogster, it's course management. It's thinking the game through to avoid mistakes. It's reducing it to where I know it's I hate to say fairways and greens because I do miss fairways, but it's mostly just thinking it through and making sure I make the smart decision where possible so that the miss won't cost me so bad.
Well, I know we got to put a bow on this, Rafa. We'll do that very soon. But talking about course management, I know we don't have much time, but what do you think of what's going on in golf right now? And let's use Cameron Champ as an example. He's averaging 343.1 yards a drive. That's ridiculous. And it's changing golf.
Yeah.
So what do you do to stop this?
I played with a guy in Missouri State the one time who hit it so far I couldn't even see it. Like, it took me 3 holes to figure out where I was going, and then when I saw it, I just started giggling. I was cheering for him. I'm supposed to be trying to beat him, but I was just like, you hit it so far. But that guy didn't hit it anywhere near as far as these guys are hitting it now. So the chatter is to restrict distance on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that because, NASCAR has restrictors all over their cars. You're still competing that way. There's F1 doesn't impact how I drive my car. So I think it makes sense to have 2 different sets of equipment for professionals versus amateurs. There is precedent. You see it in other sports. And we can't make more land we can't start having 9,000-yard golf courses to test these guys like what we face. So I think it makes sense to figure out how to restrict distance, whether it's the golf ball, whether it's the drivers. That's for, obviously if I'm Callaway or TaylorMade and I'm spending all this money to find 5 more yards for a guy every year, I'm not going to be too happy if you tell me to knock it off. Yeah. You're shutting down. How am I going to sell drivers now? So you need to keep amateur golf equipment this way, professional restrictions or limitations. That's out there in the world, so I got no problem with it.
Well, Tiger talks about it. I guess this is something that's gone on for a long time. I mean, what do? You got these incredible holes that have been, they talk about Augusta. What is your favorite golf course, by the way?
Well, Augusta.
Yeah. Is it the 13th hole in Augusta that's like this
par 5? Famous,
and now you can just bomb it over it and take all the thought out of it?
Bubba Watson years ago hit one so far, I was like, oh, he's dead. And then you found it in the fairway. It was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah. Is it changed? Well, they've, if you go back to Tiger in 97 and look how the course played then compared to how it plays now, they've done everything they can to toughen it up. I was lucky enough to go to the Masters last year for Tiger's win. I was there for the first time, and you have to hit it 280, 290 minimum every hole with a slight turn. It's a really demanding golf course. Still amazing.
Dan Kelly is one of our sharpest gappers, and we love working with him. What do you think about this comment quickly, and we'll put a bow on the show. Here's the problem, and no one mentions it. Golf is supposed to be a walking game. Mm-hmm. The courses are too long for a club player to enjoy the walk, but they don't care because carts let anyone play.
There's a difference between golfing and having a hit and giggle with your buddies. Golf is a lot of jump in a cart, put the music on, the speakers, smoking and drinking and having a ball. And that's good. It's the only place we have to legally get drunk in a park. So there should be that recreational element. The pros are all still mostly walking it. I don't think it's about the walk. That's the issue here. I think it's about the fact that you can reduce a 380-yard par 4 to a drive and a pitch. When those courses were built, it was driver 5-iron. Driver 4-iron. So
Ghoster says Rory is stupid long. I've got the stats right here. 319.7 yards is that's his tour leading distance, and Cameron Champ, 23-year-old kid, is beating that by 23.4 yards.
Right.
That's ludicrous.
Yeah, well, every generation after Tiger has seen that you could actually be an athlete.
Yeah.
And the equipment is matching them. So the shafts are stiffer, balls are going farther. So this is the problem, is you got to nip it in the bud now, because everyone's going to be hitting 400 yards soon, and then you're going to have nowhere to play.
Yeah, exactly. And then all the thought that went into these courses is a waste.
Kind of a come-down ending comedy-wise, but...
yeah.
I know you want a button on it.
Yeah, but there's. We can talk about lightning strikes.
Go ahead and get drunk in a park and hit a ball with a stick with your friends. There's your button.
Dave Hemstad joining us, Toronto Amateur Golf Champion in 2019 and 1999, and was struck by lightning and became a comic. What a story that is, man! What a story that is. You can catch Dave Hemstad this weekend, Burlington Yuck Yucks.
Yeah, Burlington Yuck Yucks.
I've never been. Is it nice?
Me neither. I haven't been either. I'll let you know.
Who are you playing with?
I got Pete Anthony.
Oh, nice. Pete Anthony. Okay,
and
dope.
Eric Andrews.
Oh, dope. What a great show.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. If you're in the Burlington area, by all means, come out to Yuck Yucks this weekend. Also, if you have a golf event somewhere warm, please invite me.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get out of the cold for a bit and play some balls. I got a match coming up, the Can-Am Cup in Myrtle Beach, with my boy Mark Zucchino from Golf Talk Canada. We're playing Carl Paulson and Dennis Paulson from Inside the Ropes, Sirius XM Radio.
Oh, wow.
In a big national battle.
Beautiful.
So that's in Myrtle in March. You can track that on Twitter.
Beautiful. And his album, Comedy Dump Truck, available at iTunes and Spotify. Quickly, my action today. I've got 5 looks in NHL. I stayed off the Sabres, even though, can the Senators beat them 4 times in a row? I just don't think that's possible. Flyers -1 plus 115. The over 5.5 in Columbus, Philadelphia. I added on the Penguins -1. I had to. I didn't plan on doing it.
Wait,
but
you took the Pens?
Yeah.
Against my Leafs?
Yeah. Your Leafs are a mess, man. Your Leafs are a mess.
I've never liked this show. I've never liked you.
Your Leafs are a mess, man. Your Leafs are a mess. Blues under 6 at -103. Blues Devils under 6 -103. Predators -1. And then I made 2 first-half looks in NCAA basketball. I made a move on LSU first half -1.5, -105. And I made a move on the Sooners first half +2 at -115. That's the play that Noli knows is on as well. That's the play that there's Noli knows.
Who's in net tonight, Campbell or Anderson? Do you know?
We're expecting Frederick Anderson, but Campbell's been better than him.
Yeah. So, but you made the bet without knowing who's in net?
Well, the expectation is that Frederick Anderson will be in that tonight.
Yeah. We do well against the Pens. I like our chances. We'll figure this out off. I know you got to wrap up your show.
We're going to wrap up.
Thank you. Go Leafs, go.
Leafs are trash. They're a mess, man.
We're not playing great. Better since we got rid of Babcock, though.
Yeah, Babcock. You lost Babcock.
Well, obviously, we all did our best. Things didn't work out.
That's a good Babcock.
Guys tried hard. Some tried harder than others. So you want to be one of the triers.
Triers. Thank you guys for watching this Sportsbook review. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the link at the bottom of the screen, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. Thank you to our guest comedian, Dave Hemstad. Tomorrow, Sweet Baby Babs, your caddy, old Mudball No-Show.
You got to let me know about his side of that story.
Brian Hatt will be here tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get that cash. Let's get that money. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning here live at the Dog and Bear, Toronto, Ontario.
Jimmy the Bag.